Okay, I'm recording. But welcome to the Highgate Society Poetry Group. Our first poet today is Gwyneth.
Right. Well, I decided to write about the road where I grew up, Grosvenor Road.
Oh.
Grosvenor Road was my childhood playground. Years of play fondly remembered. A long straight road that seemed to go nowhere, with hardly a car in the 1930s.
Mm.
The years of depression I never noticed, playing in the street at the front of my house. A one-time village changed by a railway, spawning roads close to the station. Noisy steam trains rumbling into the city, King Cotton changing lives. Oblivious to all things, playing with friends, who all lived around in the neat terraced houses. Who decided the games we played? Were they written in stone? Or was it just shopkeepers making money? Hopscotch in favour, coloured chalks for sale, pavements covered with coloured chalk squares, chanting rhymes I cannot remember, hopping from square to square, pushing a stone. Skipping down the street with our own little ropes. But best of all, we loved a big washing line. Someone's mother just wondering where, as we skipped our games in her new washing line. Every version of hide and seek, searching for smooth walls with our bouncing ball, tennis balls, bowling hoops along busy pavements, whipping our tops to spin along the roads. The creative mind of children at play, all within sight and sound of home. That's Grosvenor Road, how I remember it as a child.
That was lovely, really lovely imagery of all the different playing things.
Well, it was great fun. And playing in the road, we just opened the door and went out and played.
Mm.
Just with the kids who were all around. It was great fun.
Yes, it sounded really real, Gwyneth. Just wondering if you'd like to offer us another poem?
Another poem? Oh, right. Right. Well, the paper I take, I won't advertise it, had an article by a young man called Elliot. I don't know whether anyone else read it. He was dying of a malignant disease. And he just made up his mind he'd do something positive. And he wrote an article and sent it to this newspaper that I read. And it was all about thanking his parents and good advice for his mates. And I was so impressed with it, I wrote a poem about it. And I just called it my tribute to Elliot, because that was his first name. And his great theme was, a life lived well is long enough. A life lived well is long enough. The words of a young man facing his death, trapped by the lottery of malignant disease. An ailing body cushioned by medicine. An active mind as lively as ever. Love and gratitude shared with his parents. Words and ideas to banter with friends. Take care of your bodies, they're brilliant machines. Growing old is a privilege, don't take it for granted. If you messed up this year, do better the next. All of us are vulnerable and should ask for help. Step aside and take time to think. Yesterday's problems can have solutions. It's truly important to open your eyes to the problems of our planet before it's too late. If you have time or money, or perhaps even both, it could be fulfilling to search for the answers. So it was such a positive article he wrote. So I couldn't help but try and make a poem out of it. Right, that's me. Me had my turn.
Cheers, Gwyneth. Okay, for his first time here, 2 poems from Stephen, please.
Where has he gone?
Oh, just turn the light on.
All right. You're on, Stephen.
But you're also muted, Stephen.
Okay.
Ah, good.
Yeah, it's great to be here, and thank you for the invite to join. Seamus has told me about the Highgate Society, and we were talking recently, and so he said, considering I'd been there many times, as he said, it's good to be back there virtually anyway, you know, and hopefully soon in person, you know, whenever that may be. So I've a couple of poems, wrote some of them, wrote some years back, and but there are a couple that and really the theme of you know, living on your street, or someone who has lived in that street, or you know, and so while I'm based in Fermanagh in Northern Ireland, we have an old cottage in County Sligo, which is near the Atlantic coast, and we had this place. It was derelict when we got it 25 years ago, but it's a beautiful part of the world, and there's a peninsula down there called Muldoon on the Atlantic, you know. So really, this poem is about someone who may have lived there and who was from there. You know, it's a fictional, but it's based on, I guess, like many Irish songs and poems of emigration, and you know, there are wave and wave over the centuries, and so emigration and love lost would be I guess, the main theme of the poem. So it's called Kim Pat McCann. Kim Pat McCann, he came home from working yonder there. Who woo the girl he did love to call his lady fair. Who asked of her for her hand, that they may one day wed. To walk with her hand in hand all around the windswept head. But fortune he did strike to find on Alaska's frozen shores, to leave behind his Mary O, the belle of Muldoon. But no man's man but his own, a master's wit no more, to stake his claim by the name McCann of Muldoon. In winters long and nights of cold, he thought of her back there, her crimson lips and lashing wit, and her unknowing air. He thought of how she whispered sweet, as from the land he tore. Don't let time destroy the vine, but the fruit that it matures. Year by year, thread by thread, the rope of time unwound. The tick, the tock, like lightning struck her feet, no more to ground. And when another proposal came, no more she could beguile. Goodbye to you, Kim Pat McCann, from the mountain shadowed shore. So heed me now, all boys in prime, and listen to what I say. A bird in hand is a treasured thing. Don't let it slip away. And in the morn, my ship it sails to sweep me from my shore. Goodbye to you, sweet Mary O. Goodbye to Muldoon.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah. Thank you. So that's so yeah, as you'll see, you know, from my first visit to the Highgate Poetry Society, a lot of my poems rhyme, you know. But shall I one more? Yeah. So hi, Wendy. I'm onto my second poem. I'm Stephen. I'm virtually attending from Ireland, so it's nice to be here. So,
Oh, Wendy, hello.
so the second poem a little bit different, but it's again on the theme of living in a street. You know, and I wrote this poem probably 25, if not 30 years ago, and it's about it's called A Refugee, and sadly the situation in this poem today is as bad as it was, if not worse, than 25 years ago. But it's really when I think of the street, I think of people maybe living peacefully on a street, you know, and then within a few years their city or town is rubble, you know, because of war or economics or persecution, people have to flee, you know. So this is called a refugee. A refugee, no peace, no quiet for my family. We've got to flee, we've got to flee. No hope, no future, no security. The seed is sown, like a motherless child, to the winds we're thrown. The bird has flown, bags in hand, destination unknown. The future's bleak, for a cruel world that chastises the weak. Who will speak when the dust has settled from their marching feet?
That's lovely, Stephen. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, we can welcome Wendy now. Hiya, Wendy. And pass on to our next poet, who is Andrew.
Ah, right. Okay, let's see what I've got here. Well, I wrote a series of poems around the Anglo-Saxon years some time ago, and one of them, of course, is October, and it's the only poem I've ever attempted to write in iambic pentameter, and I swear I'll never do it again. So I will attempt to read it without Shakespearean education. Winter felleth, winter tides, first full moon, first full silver moon of month wilt come soon. Leaves on the ground, smell the season's moist scent. Summer tide's full heat has been fully spent. Honour the Nor for his winter potent, Holland tide in spirit, power as sent. Let's celebrate, fear not winter's starting. Shall we rejoice at summer's departing? Lord Woden of magic, winter tide come, tame and subdue, ruthless coldness succumb. Wild hunt leading, the dashing and darting, line own strength and defence out loud imparting. Misty dimness, gloomy landscapes extent, descent into shadows, shall we lament? Shape of darkness with the blackest torment, let's not lament into shadows descent. Thank you.
Interesting, Andrew.
And now a bit of fun. So this second poem is based on Beowulf. In the poem Beowulf, there's a word which occurs just once. It's called Skjalduganga. It means shadow goer. And so this, in all of our corpus of Anglo-Saxon surviving documents and literature, we only have this word once in Beowulf, nowhere else. So I reread Beowulf to get a feel of what Skjalduganga was, and it can be anything. So although it refers to the monster Grendel in Beowulf, a Skjalduganga could be a man, it could be a beast, anything which moves with stealth with evil intent, perhaps through the darkness. So here's my poem. Came shadows through, grey night striding, through the dark wood forest gliding, formless shapes their outlines hiding, silent Skjalduganga. What manner of beast, alive or dead, they dwell in forests of dark dread, on brave shield maidens be they fed, the swift Skjalduganga. On shadow, dark, gloomy, grey nights, without a form, these beastly wights, going about their silent rites, elf or Skjalduganga. But who has seen them in the face, or chasing prey at their fast pace, or in their nests, in their full grace, the Skjalduganga? Only brave men with charms showing, on their tunics pouches sewing, spells and galdors to their knowing, risk Skjalduganga. Distant sounds of branches snapping, pitter patter stealthy tapping, slowly webline spirit sapping, go Skjalduganga. Who dares to go dark of moon, with shadows shifting into doom, guarded with that sacred rune, the spell casting Gunga. Swiftly moving, gliding shadows, speeding faster than thine arrows, seeking the unguarded hallows, spectre Skjalduganga. In shadows spirits come and go, hell's cold dark demons from below, as they do reap, so shall they sow. Come, Skjalduganga, at deepest dark of night they meet, shades of black so fast and fleet, beware that thee do not them greet. Hungry Skjalduganga.
Wow, brilliant, Andrew. Beautiful. Well, so that,
Good description of
yeah,
COVID-19.
brilliant.
I don't have a poem about my street.
Well, it's interesting we're getting all of these shadows in autumn. Right, I'm going to have a go now. Right, I responded to our challenge by talking about the street I live on now. It's called On Shepherd's Hill. And I think it's possibly partly inspired by On Hindford Street. Does anybody know On Hindford Street? By the Belfast cowboy? One of his lesser known gems. On Shepherd's Hill. On Shepherd's Hill, a long hill stretching high, an energy buster digging deep. On Shepherd's Hill, our London plains exhale into the skies, those giant redwoods casting envious glances. On Shepherd's Hill, heaven's stars touch down and twinkle, those stars walk amongst us. On Shepherd's Hill, the shepherd's cottage, obliterated by progress where we now live, by the Victoria villas. On Shepherd's Hill, a man stands still, a woman looks high, we stand together, together we fly. On Shepherd's Hill, where we sing our praises, where everything is everything. And I'm referring back to a previous Highgate challenge where we were invited to talk about our feelings. And I decided at that time to talk about a love for the celebration of life. And there's one line here that I need to explain. My favourite football team, I'm a fan of West Bromwich Albion. And when I was growing up, we had a great footballer whose name was Graham. Graham kind of Lovett. And people might think I've never heard of Graham Lovett, some great footballer he is. Sadly, he had a predisposition to extreme car crashes. So that's possibly why you've not heard of him. Did himself a lot of damage. Rare feeling. I'm born number 4, creative destroyer, Graham car crash Lovett. Understand my flow, what I don't know. I take it slow before I go and spread play about this place with silk and grace and stop to lace my golden boots. It's no disgrace to bow to, for I am great, a rare teammate, to love not hate, to have around, to take back home, free not bound by tackler's tile, upon this soil, playing out this loving mortal Kyle. Thank you. And there's my 2. So can we hand over to Seamus?
Oh my God. The problem is I didn't grow up in the street. I grew up in a field in the country. So I haven't got any street songs from when I was a child. But I remember going fishing. So I wrote a wee, I was supposed to be studying uni and I dropped my pen and this poem came into my head. It ended up as a song, as you know, but most poems are songs. And it's called Fishing. Where's Da? He's sowing. He's watching them green blades growing. And he don't mind, so don't feel guilty going. And where Ma? She's sowing. You know them patches were going. She don't mind, they ain't no use delaying. So let's go fishing and dodge across the bog. But if you catch nothing, you're gonna have to walk the dog. You dig and I'll grab. Try under that big slab, but it's so damned hot, and you know we ain't got a lot. What's that twitching? You know that bait is itching. So cast again and watch the bob a-going. And let's get high. Reeling, spinning, it's an innocent life, no sinning, and God don't mind, so don't feel guilty catching. Because we gone fishing, we dodged across the bog, but if you catch nothing, you're gonna walk the dog. It's not exciting. The midgets itch back biting. Cast a stone and watch the bob a-going, the ripples rolling, and let's get high. And we gone fishing, and dodged across the bog. I wish I'd get back, I felt so guilty going. We gone fishing, and dodged across the bog, and I caught nothing, and I had to walk the dog.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so
Lovely.
then when I left where I was living in Fermanagh, around the corner from Harpo, well, a few fields away, I went to this town called Derry. Some of you might know it as Londonderry. It's got a reputation for itself. It's a pretty violent wee town in this day. It's, you know, so and it's actually one of the first poems I wrote. It was about that town. It was in a bad way back in the 70s when I moved up there, and you know, it was just terrible. That's where I was, so I decided to write about it. So this is my first poem about a street that I lived on, well, a town that I lived in. Your dark and dirty lights never showed me the way. They hid me at night and shadowed my day. And corpses of houses, once shops and homes, are left for the wind to howl through their bones. And through the rust and iron run them doggy, dirty bums, checking on our freedom when instructions come. And those pilfering pioneers who invaded us down through the years are pushed on by the commons and the dregs of the piers. And rubbing hot salt on the coldest sores, empty spaces fill factory floors. Our eyes tell our dreams, hopes, dreads, and fears, and our faces carry scars of worry, shame, and tears. And the dust of murdered martyrs hangs heavy in the air, blessing the meek who breathe in despair. And those pilfering pioneers who invaded down through the years are pushed on by the commons and the dregs of the piers. Call off your parasites, call off your guard dogs and go play soldiers in your own checkered backyard. Blatant discriminators, excuses for voted men, hiding in their hovel, watching them grovel neath ticking Ben. And those pilfering pioneers who invaded down through the years are pulled back by the commons and the dregs of the piers.
Well done. Well
Yeah.
done.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunately true.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's a nice town now. Well, the problem is the last time I was there, they knocked most of it down, so there aren't too many streets left. That's what they do in places like Enniskillen. They knock most of it down and build car parks. You know, I don't know why. It's ruins. There's no soul there. I found when I was there. And I'll shut up.
Well, it's more poems.
Oh, is it me then?
Yep, you're next, Michelle.
Okay. Okay, so this is about my street, and it's, I hope you like it. It's called Mercury, God of Communication. Oh, my phone box, I miss you so. You're not there in the morning, and you're not there at night. I know I betrayed you with so many others. First it was Nokia, then Sony, followed by Samsung, Dell and LG. But you know I loved you still. A mobile is no exchange for you. With your sleek, translucent walls, you were the sunshine of my life. O Mercury of the gods, I worshipped you. I loved you in the morning and would come kiss you for sure at night. With fresh smelling piss, I knew you'd been used. With your receiver hanging out the door, I'd wipe you with a wet wipe, then caress your handle. I could love your glass box and metal telephone pad. I would lean on you and talk sweet whispers, listening back, and receive a passing love in my ears. Oh, box of glass, receiver of my coins, I saved to visit you, to play with you. I'd listen to my own voice, my mother's voice, my father's voice, my lover's voices. What secrets you held, my love. Alas, you're gone. You've been removed to the rubbish tip. I'll miss you every day. My heart is gashing out for you, my love. Oh, Mercury, my love, my receiver of words that kiss and curse. I miss you, not being my landmark and there every day. So that's where I live now. Because there used to be a phone box, and I went out after the lockdown and they'd removed the phone box.
How dare they?
Yeah, how dare they? Exactly. Now I can't tell people where I live.
Right.
So, and I've got another one which is about where I live. But that's why I decided to turn it into a love affair with the phone box, really. Anyway, unemployment is rising, but we don't go out. Rough sleepers line our corridors, sleeping outside people's front doors. They're lonely and need somewhere dry, laying back on the vinyl floors. They text message. Who? They line up in rows in some places, single rows, and in others two abreast. I often see the remains of the sleepers by their human feces on the stairs, the empty beer cans on the floor. I talk to the cleaners, who reassure me it's every day. Today a woman was caught in the act, they said. So scared she ran away, he said, leaving behind her sleeping bag. Who's to say what's right or wrong? I am told we have street link, yet they come, apparently, and see no one. That's because no one is here till after 12:30, and they stay till 8 a.m. Street link come once a day. How useless is that? We are all but one paycheck away, as they say. Yep, that's right. A happy song, one paycheck away from the street. A parked bench on a wet, windy night. Take a look in the mirror, and don't forget, a homeless person does have a name. So, yeah, unfortunately, since lockdown finished, that's been happening in the block of flats where I live. So we have unfortunately got a group of homeless people who the street link, who is supposed to know second night out and all of that stuff, can't find. We can find them, but they can't. But there you go. Thank you.
Yes, Michelle.
Right.
Thanks. Nice local memories. Well, say nice. Christopher, are you ready to rock?
Got to unmute myself. Okay, here we go then. So this is on the street where we live. On the street where we live, the houses are square. The people speak finely. They're not born near Bow Bells. They all have good hampsteads and greet you. Hello. The ladies have coiffed barnets too. They must be Highgate girls. There are bankers and lawyers among many more, engaged in professions which comply with the law. Retired consultants, a medical advisor, a doctor with motorbike who wears a visor. There are neighbours who just wave and others who talk about property prices or that young female in the house with drapes, which at the top form a fork because they don't quite meet across the curtain rail. There's a neighbourhood watch team which meets twice a year to discuss recent break-ins and cars which have been pinched. I saw them from my window with balaclavas without fear, electronic device used, key copying's a cinch. If an ambulance or squad car ventures down our road, no net curtains twitch as they would have of old. People open windows, shout, "What's wrong?" They're bold. They want every detail, There's a thirst to be told. A few doors away lives a lady who hates birds. Ornithophobia's diagnosed, so avoids bills and beaks. There's one medication, relaxation with words. It's a known cognitive behavioural therapy technique. Our address is withheld to protect innocent souls from the blushes that here their secrets have been told, to be spread among readers both close and far flung, so no one knows if we live on the street, hill or road.
A crime in Highgate.
Yeah, sorry?
A crime in Highgate.
There's loads of them, loads of them.
Write any other offers, Christopher?
Sorry, the what?
Write another poem?
No, that's the only one I've got, I'm afraid.
You're slacking. Okay, over to Wendy.
Yeah, sorry I was late. Yes, I actually was trying to find a poem that I have got that I wrote about the street I live on, and it mentions Harrow Road's paved with gum that is old, but I can't find it. So I'll do one from Living with Ghosts, which you have read. It's a long piece. It's on Natterjack Press online, but it's sort of hidden away on the internet for no one to read, really. But I know Richard's read it, and it's about where I grew up. So I'll just read a bit from that, because it is 25 pages long. So I won't read it all out, even though I know you'd like me to. You've got all day. Right, I'll just build up. Living with Ghosts. 1. A hut that had in it bird's nests, blackbird eggs blown hollow, boy racer bikes with brown leather saddles, leather saddlebags with rusted buckles, buckled wheels rusted, puncture repair kits, tins hardly used, unusable now. A shrine for boys who mended punctures in their mother's heart, pumped up their inner tubes, checked their tyres, and carried on riding up that street out of sight. Touching the pump they touched, we remember them. Living with Ghosts. 2. A bedroom that had in it matching different sized walnut veneer wardrobes, matching dressing table and mirror, a book called The Mirror Cracked. That had a picture of a cracked mirror on the cover. Pink glass tray, pink nail varnish blobs, hard and non-smelling, clinging to the varnished wood. Odd oval cream clip on earring, left for me to pick out the verdigris, to try on as I look in the mirror, imagining older sisters' faces, all pink sorbet and pearlescent lips. Wonder when exactly they dropped that blob, left that earring, read that book, left in the early morning rain. Living with Ghosts. 3. The big wardrobe that had in it harsh woolen army uniform, army shaving kit, various letters in airmail envelopes from soldiers to little sister, airmail from Malk. Thanks to my Christmas present, but don't go to all that trouble to send a box of matches to Aidan in future. Letters from me with big margins leaving 2 words to a line saying, Dear Vinny, happy Xmas, love me. Dear Malk, happy Xmas, love me. Letter to mother from Vinny, airmail from Cyprus, leaves cancelled for Christmas, but be on Feb. Letter from army saying sorry. Black pointed shoes still shiny, a black 3-piece suit, ragged and torn, a gold signet ring crushed in the pocket, worn on the night he went to a party. on deferred leave when a drunken driver killed him. The night Joe Meek died and Buddy Holly 8 years before. I look out the window, remember his head, brill creamed and black like a beetle's back. Winkle pickers clicking, going up that street with his army mates, getting the bus to his fate. Mam said he'd been whistling, Roses are blooming in Piccadilly. Vince Hill was on the charts that year. A Vince and a Vinny, one on the radio, one arranging his quiff, positioned with a black tooth comb, the point matching his shoes. Mother's memory to hold and never get over, his mangled hand clinging to his signet ring, and a report, young soldier hit by car, walking in middle of road, thrown 100 feet in the air, killed instantly, drunk driver fined, 50 quid. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Wendy. That was beautiful.
Love to hear the rest of it next time.
Pardon?
I'd love to hear the rest of it eventually.
Oh, thank you. And just because I'm conscious you're from Derry and I know the problems and I love the undertones actually from Derry, but I was from a very troubled family, and you know all the older ones left and 2 went in the army, but didn't last long. So, but it's just the way of the British Army anyway. So.
Just to say, it's an excellent publication, and as Wendy says, it is available, Sleeping with Ghost, on at Jack Press, which is available free online.
Thanks for listening. Thank you.
Right, any others, Wendy? One more?
If you don't mind.
Go on.
Oh, if you're crisp. What I'll do is I'll read Autumn Trekking, as it's this beautiful, my favourite season, autumn. This is Autumn Trekking. Leaf hanging, gossamer holding, star trekking across the universe. I'm trekking in autumnal space. Zip me up, Scotty. I may be some time. Mud on their boots, mud on their hands. Leaf falling, ground calling. Come to me, join your autumn friends. Raindrops fell on the chestnut leaf like semen on a girl's tongue. Then it fell off. So heard, what's the word? Is it a linnet or a tit? A long-tailed tit? Hear it? Like a leaf drops into a puddle, you can't stop it. Like a lemming jumps off a cliff, you can't stop it. Like skin grows old, you can't stop it. Like the common cold, you can't cure it. Just like life throws shit at you, just endure it, embrace it. The leaves are committed to fall. Thank you. That's me trying, just so, you know, it always ends up being all floaty and flouncy when you talk about the seasons, doesn't it? So.
Lovely.
Cheers, Wendy. And so that completes our first circle. And it's not even 7:30, so I'm going to offer another 2 poems to everybody in turn.
Oh, wow.
Gwyneth, are you ready?
Right, okay. Here we go. Remember I wrote one, or maybe you'll remember, I wrote a poem about the oak tree that I look at from the window of the flat where I live. Well, I spend a lot of my time sitting looking at the oak tree. And I wrote this poem one of the lovely Indian summer evenings when the birds were enjoying themselves, doing their thing. This lovely late September evening, indulging in the warmth of the setting sun, a golden ball of radiant light, low in the sky as it slips to the west. From the shelter and haven of the old oak tree, 2 wood pigeons prepare to take flight. A scatter of parakeets reluctantly flutter. Young squirrels leap up sunlit branches. A couple of magpies exploring the acorns. As the day imperceptibly fades away, I'm bound by the beauty of nature's bounty. A setting sun sharing its light. The stillness of dusk calming the land as night gathers to claim its time. The wood pigeons celebrate their last flight of the night. The parakeets gather close to the oak. The squirrels gradually take to their nests. The busy magpies close their search as night presses to claim its space. The dark light of night silhouettes the trees, outlines the beauty of the oak's sturdy frame, the symmetry and balance of curving branches, the fan-shaped foliage that filters the wind through the shelter and haven of the old oak tree. That's it.
Oh,
More to follow,
gorgeous,
more to
Gwyneth.
follow as I watch
Oh.
the old oak tree.
Just lovely.
A poem paints a picture.
Yeah, beautiful.
It's there, and it's such a beautiful tree, and the birds seem to love it, and they all have such specific characters. Maybe I'll write a play about them.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Could be the birds love you, and that's why they come around.
That's another one, Gwyneth.
Oh, right. Ah, well, this one, I'm back to my childhood. The memories
Get
of
too racy.
the memories of Grosvenor Road, you see. The thing I possibly loved the best, I had an old iron hoop, and I had a little handled hook that I used to whip it along the pavements. And right, an hour's playtime after tea was one of my very special treats because I never wanted to go to bed. It was one of those mystical, smog-laden nights I wanted to play with my hoop and hook. All I needed was a long, level pavement. Flixton Road was just about right. Folk wouldn't walk, they'd catch the bus. Still and quiet, we set ourselves steady. The hook and I, with all this space, off we raced as one possessed. I whipped the hoop with my wooden hook. Who would stop first, me or the hoop? It was the thrill of motion of a bonded union as we raced to keep up with the spinning hoop. I'm getting my hoops and my hooks mixed up. But it was great fun belting it along a pavement where there were no people. And it went faster and faster and faster. I still remember it. Even remember the coat I was wearing.
Oh, lovely.
That's it.
Cheers, Gwyneth. What about Stephen? Another two from Stephen?
Certainly give you another one in maybe a second if I can remember them, you know. So I was well prepared, but there should be in my head anyway. So this home was actually for about 25 years I've worked in South Asia in hospitals and rehabilitation centres, and lived over there for many years. And I was actually wrote this when I was travelling in Nepal, and I guess I was thinking of where I was, but also thinking of home as well. The connection to the street in this song would be Archway Road 473, where Seamus lives opposite Highgate Woods, and Seamus's son James Patrick Gavin covered this poem in an album he brought out last year, Chewing the Fat, you know. So I thought there's a connection to Highgate here as well, of course, Archway Road, you know, and many's a time we sang it and spoke it in there, you know. So this is called Longing. I long to go where the life is slow and the air is crisp and clear, where the rivers flow from the melting snow from the winter of last year. I long to be in a place again, or greeted with a smile, where every face has poise, has grace, and time chat away. I long to gaze as the morning haze is swallowed by the sun, where the cattle graze and mountains raise, and man and earth are one. I long to stay where my mind can stray and not worry about a thing, where the children play in the mown hay and the prayer bells gently ring. Because I long to go where the life is slow, the air is crisp and clear, where the rivers flow from the melting snow from the winter of last year. So this one is not really about a street as such, you know. It was I guess inspired by a movie I seen on my way to South Asia one time. You know, it was about I have to say now for something completely different, you know, but it was about a country singer called Blaze Foley, and about his relationship. And again, went back to my first poem about love lost, and he was a guy, the film was made about someone who didn't make it, you know, but who was a very fine musician, singer, songwriter in his own right, who tragically died young. He was shot dead when he was 39. So it's a little poem called Blaze. I wake up early one morning. You come right into my head, but you're not lying beside me on the right hand side of my bed. No, you're not lying beside me on the right hand side of our bed. I remember that winter so clearly. You told me you could not stay, told me you still love me, no longer put up with my ways. And I guess I should have tried harder, stop you and ask you to stay, say that I'm for changing, but it'll just take another few days. And to say you should never stop searching for something that you threw away. To say that distant heart grows fonder, and the distant heart grows fonder someday. And soon I will stop all this drinking, go to the place that you stay, play you songs on my guitar, listen to the poetry you say. I'll go and pick you wildflowers, and I'll write you a new song every day. Words to remember our love in them happier days. But now I'm ablaze in the heavens, prematurely taken away. If I could, I would be with you, and I would fly right back your way. And I'd take you back to our treehouse. In the woods again we would play, sit on the porch on the daytime, lie down at the end of that day. And we'll wake up there in the morning, bird song alive in our head, and you'll be lying there beside me on the right hand side of our bed. Lying there beside me on the right hand side of our bed.
Excellent.
Oh, lovely. Lovely.
Happy and, happy and sad at the same time.
Sorry, Seamus?
Both happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bittersweet.
yeah, bittersweet. Lovely.
And people should listen to more country music.
Agreed.
That's it. It was Chris Christopherson said, if you think it's a country song, man.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I did say that. Just before, what was it? Right, his big hit, wasn't it? He said it just before his big hit. Me and Bobby McGee.
Me and Bobby McGee, yeah, that's the one.
Cheers. Right, where's Andrew gone? Is Andrew still there?
I'm here. Yep. Okay. So this poem's based on The Mask at Sutton Hoo. Reproductions of The Mask have been made and worn in archaeological reconstructions in a reproduced mead hall with lighting conditions of the time. And this poem's based on a description of the mask in a reproduced mead hall. The poem's called I'm Called Mask. Warriors, retainers, fill the mead hall, glittering lord on, carved seat set so tall, on warrior's sword, at height of full moon, the gleaming-eyed one consecrates the rune, the shifting flames light, the glimmering mask, mead cup-bearing boys break open the cask, horn of mead passes from bench to bench, boasting of valour and longing to quench. The right eye garnets, glitter and glimmer, stiff bronze dragon shank, sparkle and shimmer, dark hollow eye holes in soft shadows deep. Warriors move round, flames flicker and leap. The bird soars skyward and dragon descends, bronze boarheads to wings strong shielding defends. Figures of silver on mask of giver, forming in firelight they shudder and shiver. Thick billowing smoke upwards ever drift, flickering firelight, faint images shift. Torn long tunic barred, he weaves riddle craft, while on the spear side laid down the best draught. Amid the chatter and immodest song, wassail loudly cried amongst heathen throng, while slaking the thirst with ample mead long, much wassailing in the small hours long.
Yeah.
Oh, right. And second poem, I think this is just a bit of fun. So imagine the local, what would you call him? Galdra, the local wizard, and he's gone to gather some lichen from standing stones, and he's doing it at a liminal moment. And this was actually done, and for making healing potions. So this is called the Gates of Tomorrow. Door before daybreak, gateway to sunrise, before the cock crows, as eventide dies, he gathers lichen together at night, containing its force before it is light, standing and casting his magical right between the old stones, portal in twilight, in sacred deep trance, with twigs of ash tree, a stave cast on ground, magic runes to see, before sun appears, above burning bright, from corner of eye, appears elfin white, white shining spirit, where magic stones stand, guardian of rocks on this sacred land, waiting waiting at the cold portal of dawn, hands held beneath his long tunic of fawn, as all grass around becomes frosty hoar, dusting and dancing in the morning roar, singing long gaudeals in spellbound trance, chanting secret lay in a runic stance, waiting for sunrise, the gods to entreat, when the day waketh, the charm is complete. Thank you.
Okay, I'm on again. I'm on reading poems from
That man
one
again.
of me. It's me again. Yeah. I'm reading poems from a book I've already read from several times, and I'm doing it because that book's getting full and it's breaking me ring binder. How is everybody? Is everybody okay?
I'll
Yeah.
talk in a ring binders.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine, thanks.
Asking if everybody's okay, because it's not too bad, is it? Life's not too bad right at this point in time. I can tell this because I know when things get bad, the Conservatives are going to stand up and talk about the importance of British bloody values. And I think when Boris Johnson came close to this last week when he was talking about people in Scotland wanting independence, and he said something like, well, they don't have... these people don't have... so these people don't have my values, or something like this. A couple of years ago, kind of Dame Louise Casey said, we need more of a spirit of unity, compassion and kindness that brings people together under our common British values of tolerance, democracy, equality and respect. Sounds good? Whose values do we value though? We value our own. And they call our oppression tolerance. We tolerate their oppression. They call our freedom institutionalization. We live in prisons and we dream of freedom. They call our democracy leadership from the unelected. We elect to lead our own lives and feel them squandered. They call our respect and rule of law removal of our rights. We just turn the other cheek and we do what we are told. Their British values are not for us. British values are for others. Others in our history have told us so, shown us so, and forced it so. They lead the country, we lead protest, we lead revolution. Our lives are changing now. Our values are loose and fresh, and their face may be austere and pressurizing, but inside we are reborn and inside ever smiling. We call for change. The call is for independence, independence from their pride in British values, independence in our lives, independent. So let us start living. Thank you.
Beautiful. Let's start the revolution, Rich.
Okay, Seamus, if you throw that first brick. There's a window to see your house.
Bother. No bother.
Okay.
I was wondering the reason why he invited me tonight. Now I know.
What we're going to do about it. I spent 20 years working in advocacy. I was a very quiet young boy with a stammer, and I've still got that stammer, but
You're no longer quiet.
yeah, well, kind of less quiet, maybe, Gwyneth. Less quiet. So anyway, something got me started, and it's about the importance of speaking up. Speak up. Yes, I know. I am in this room with you who have stopped speaking. Stopped because of our beatings. Stopped because you were not heard. Stopped because of how things changed. Stopped because you think you've had your time. Stopped because no one listened when someone should have listened. Stopped because no one cares when someone somewhere should have cared. Stopped because the way you're treated is the way you're treated, and that's all there is to it. Stopped because the pain you feel, the pain from the beating, the pain of rejection. Stopped speaking. Look back to all these stops. Why stop? Should you stop? You should not stop. No, you should not stop. Start speaking, start believing, start to take your life back. Start. The world did not stop because you stopped and grew tired of starting. The world carried on the way the world carries on. And because the world carries on the way it carries on, you must start. Start again, start anew, start afresh. Start. Thank you.
Way.
So it's time for Seamus again.
Oh, that's a hard one to follow. I've got one. It sort of comes out of what Wendy said about, you know, the English and that Derry bit. So this is me coming to another town, but it's me leaving Ireland and coming over here, as it were. And I came over here to study, and it was like the Irish wanted to get rid of me in my head. Well, my girlfriend did. She dumped me at the other end of the boat. So I got on this boat, and eventually all my thoughts congealed into this wee poem. It's called Vagabond. When forced onto this country, a vagabond of love, assisted down the gangplank by a patriotic shove, hard on the heels of fortune and rainbow-legged men, with the wild west winds a-whispering, hey, don't come back again. And it's high time, go boys, you're round, get 'em in. Left the rich man's daughter in the poor man's bed again, poking fun entwined as one with frigid fag end friend, and fielding seed and naked need a chastised let's pretend. Well, I could have dug for England regardless of the pay, with chic physique and freak technique I practiced every day, until a gunman's gangers gobbet got in my way. So I showered him with insults and 100 ton of clay. And it's high time, go boys, come round, live in sin. No more I'll dig for deep respect, nor get taken in. And as for you, you've had your chew, now choke and bulk your fill, and bugger off onto your cross, the queue is up the hill. And when I snorted loyin with three-piece smiling tie, I always answered Rule 14, and if they ask me why, it's brute force and ignorance is 9/10 of the law, and sheer contempt is 1%, and the balance hash and flaw. Oh, it's high time, low life. I won't get taken in. I'll be no poor man's porter nor rich man's hooligan, and deliver me from fancy fools and fetish fame. Condemned I stand, but I'll be damned. I never was to blame. Bittersweet heart thoughtlessness is just around the bend for fragile manna men with bridges left to mend. To feel the need, to feel the need, to feel to carry on, to fade into the sunset or rise up with the dawn. And it's high time, woe boys, slow down, hold your tongue. I swore I'd swear, I'd swore no more, old hippies, do die young. So long as love-lost vagabonds are patriots shame, the wild west wind's gale will prevail and drive you all insane.
Rebel song.
Eh?
Like another rebel song.
You want a rebel? You want a rebel song? Well, it is a sort of a rebel song. It is a sort of a rebel song. But if you want a rebel song, I can give you one of two. I can give you a beautiful poem, but it is a song by Ewan McCall about it's about the idea of not having a street. Or I can give you one that I wrote about being in London in a street wanting to be in the country. Which one would you like? Can I have a vote of everybody put up their hands and I'll see how many I've got on screen. Who wants Ewan McCall? There's one. And who wants a Gavin interpretation of looking back at, all right, there you go. Sorry, Rich. This one's called London Town, and this is looking back when I'm now in London. And basically one morning I woke up with a bad back, and I remembered that the reason I had a bad back is that I jumped in through a window trying to break a squat and landed on my back back in the day. And I just woke up and this came into my head. It's called London Town. And it was 1986, and it was February, I remember. Down here in London Town, my mind's gone, western bound, to where my heart's to be found, wandering on Toppet Mound. I pause there. Toppet Mound is a mountain round the corner from where I live. So whenever I mention Toppet Mound, imagine this beautiful mountain. Beauty is such renown, painted by the hilltops crowned, and coloured with the lakes around, a fortress to concrete sound. Gentle breeze lifted my eyes to where the corncrake cries. Down behind the heather rise, what makes me realise. Down here in London Town, my mind's gone western bound, to where me heart's to be found, wandering on Toppet Mound. His horizons cradle my cot, hard rocks forget me not. From here down by Paddy's plot, ah yes, my eternal squat. 'Cause down here in London Town, my mind's gone western bound, to where my heart's to be found, wandering on Toppet Mound.
Top of the mound. Highgate Hill.
Yep. I'll do you McCall next week, or the next month rather. Well, I'll tell you which one it would have been. It would have been the Moving On song. So if you want to research that one for next, it's a beautiful, beautiful piece about not having a home to go to.
Oh, make a note.
Yeah.
Moving On.
The Moving On song. He wrote it for, when he was doing the radio plays and he was researching all the stuff. It just came to mind when I was listening to your poems, particularly the ones about the homelessness and that has been suffered at the moment and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's a song about homelessness. And anyway, I'll shut up.
Okay. Talking of homelessness, you're on again, Michelle.
Okay, this is a bit different, this one. This is, some of my poems are quite silly. Hopefully you gathered that. COVID tum, COVID rum, COVID bun. I've got a COVID tongue and I burnt my thumb. Here's got COVID tum, Those extra pounds around your waist, oh what a bum. A little on your COVID bum. Did you eat those COVID buns? Yummy, 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 I've got rum in my tummy and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm adding the buns to the rum. Yummy, yummy, mummy, I've got rum in my tummy. Adding to my COVID tum and my COVID bum. 'Cause I ate too many COVID buns. That's very silly.
Yep.
And then this one, I don't know where this one's coming from. I've had some strange conversations with people. And I don't think I've read this before. Topics of conversation have changed. Phone sessions about food obsession. Every fucking phone call, every email, everybody's up in arms, mouths gaping. Twitter's full of it. Facebook is bursting at the seams with it. Obsession and affection with attention to food, including confection and guilty confessions and connection to digestion. Food is your mother's protection. No deliveries from supermarkets. They're all fully booked. You're not allowed out. You're told to shield. You can call it quarantine. They call it isolation. You need food, especially during lockdown. Food parcels, food deliveries, food in bags outside your door, left by volunteers if you're disabled. The government was meant to send you a box. Should centre on Fox, but the box was full of inedible crap, meatballs in tins, spans, some kind of ham, meat pies for the dog, tuna fish, and trophies, and mechanical peas, and machine peas. You're a vegetarian, please. Just because you're disabled doesn't mean you eat tinned meat. Government, we have dietary requirements. You're veggie for starts and gluten-free. Whereas your friends, they get a local box from a local COVID help-out scheme. They get frozen chips and Easter eggs, mangoes and pineapples. Your government box is yours because you're shielding, and the government don't give a toss. Large loaves of sliced spam, fit for a sandwich. Yes, government box, shielding, disabled, dream of a supermarket. So that's come out of conversations really with people about different experiences. And those of you who know that my partner had COVID and went into hospital, so we weren't allowed out and at all. I hope that doesn't happen again or happen to anyone else. And that was quite weird because it was before lockdown. So our friends were bringing us bags of food on the doorstep, and then just everyone else. Like, I don't even know how people found us food, but there you go. Thank you.
Cheers.
You okay now?
Yeah, he got so he got ill on the 13th of March, and he got the all clear a week ago.
Gosh.
Oh,
So, and he didn't have any underlying conditions, and he ended up in hospital on oxygen, not on a ventilator, just oxygen. So wear a mask or stay away from other people, really. You know, seriously, it's quite a lot rougher than they let on.
yeah. Hands, space, mask. Christopher, anything else from you?
Yeah. No, I haven't, because I just wrote the one poem with the for the title, so I haven't. I'm afraid I haven't got anything.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I'm going to pass over to Wendy then.
Oh.
Anything from Wendy?
Okay, well, thank you. That's a shame, Christopher, because I love yours. And it's like listening to John Betchman or somebody listening to Christopher. So I'll read something else from Living with Ghosts. Living with Ghosts 4. At the top of my street, I saw a shooting star. I wished on it. Please let Dee have me back. I got him. He forgave me a bit for the love bite I got from a proper twat. He was told by his mate that I finished with her for getting a love bite on her birthday. And I paid and paid and paid. Now I look back and imagine that little girl with no hope, no future apart from Dee. Bowie on the radio reminds me, never done good things, never done bad things. Stars, 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 damn 'em. Stars shooting over the Pennines as I got off the last bus from town. Hopelessness is hope. Blokeless, I wish on one. I'm sorry for the love bite, bringing back to me. It wasn't Emily Moore. It wasn't a star, it was Emily Moore, but I got what I wished for, which is why I'm crying into half a lager in the California off sales. Stars, damned stars. Living with the ghost of myself, angry that I was scarred, enough to swear I'd never get married, I'd never had kids, curse my life. Living with Ghosts 4A. Peter Powell pillock neck, my brother shouted at top of the pops, and how he'd like to smash Terry all smug chuffing face in. And then to me, walking up the street to the bus stop, don't be bringing home no chuffing punk rockers, hanging out of the room window, in their shocking pink trousers and their fluffy jumper. Thanks.
Living Ghost, thatdragpress.com. Another one, Wendy?
You were all right. Yeah, my brother Alan, he was funny, but he was a bastard and all. Utter bastard. This one is called October, as it is October now, and October grey, ice sting through the mist. Whole memories when you were giving it all away, giving yourself away. When the flesh on your bones was all that kept you warm. The torture of your age now shedding years like clothes. Now they stay corset stiff and turn to long days. Time flies, they say, but these drag on, and January suns, February moons, while the flesh on your bones is all that keeps you warm. Thanks.
Lovely.
Right.
And just gone 8 o'clock, so I think we can get in at least one more round of one poem each.
Oh,
Have you got one more for us?
I'll have to go. I'll go and find one. So if somebody got one to hand.
Okay, I'll pass over to Stephen.
Oh, yeah, put me on the spot here. Let me see. Just come back to me, Richard. I'll just think of one, okay?
Come back to you too. Andrew?
Okay, I'm just thumbing pages here. Okay, just the first one I found. It's called Wednesday, which in Anglo-Saxon is Vodnesdag, and it's a poem I spent some time musing over because I wanted to write a poem about an Anglo-Saxon ritual, which we know almost nothing, and I didn't want animal sacrifices in it, as there would likely have been, so I had to muse over this for some time until eventually I found an angle, and so I thought it's just an everyday ritual, it's not a special ritual. so I called it Wednesday. Knee-length brown tunic in warp and wet weave, embroidered red hems to neck and long sleeves, patterned belt buckle and pointed strap end, pouches and short knife ready to attend. No temple doth stand within sacred glade, no priest of Woden without sword and blade. Deep in dark forest, rising of full moon, holy half clearing rite of ritual rune, lot without a beast in woodland twilight, loaf of best baked bread, awaiting moonlight, half horn of mild mead, torn old ochre cloak, an oath to exchange at 1,000-year oak, liminal moment charged with special power, offering laid down at base of the bower, consecrated grove, spirit witness tree, healer of 9 herbs, I doth invoke thee, Gauda Kraft, Woden. Ja, Woden eure Fuß, die Aton herfahren, Woden, sie den Namen gehaugen, wat die nie stiller als de day gewürfet in Billa, Woden, sot liedse. Listening for Shrekky in torn cloak with hood, Midgard doth fade in winter's wild wood, leader of wild hunt, Woden magic lord, line wildebeest done unto line accord, howling wolves hard by, about on the tour, cracking of branches beneath Jerry's paw, ravens rustle trees, cold cry of Hugin, forest falls silent, a weeping mooning, raising horn, was hail, Drixen I beseech, making Woden pledge, as the witches teach, a seer in Asgard, I give thee my word. Squirrel climbs tree, my favour is heard.
Hey! Christ, you sound a bit like Hitler at one point. God. Bloody hell.
Sort of Anglo-Saxon there, was it?
Yeah, I didn't really know what to say in Anglo-Saxon, so I took the Lord's Prayer and just clicked a couple of lines out and changed one word. I changed the word for God to Woden. Apart from so, I'm confident of, because I can't speak Anglo-Saxon, but I'm confident that that little bit I said would have sounded convincing to an Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well done.
You convinced me. It's more like Dutch, but it's beautiful.
Well, it does. It's German, isn't it? It's Saxon.
It's Germanic, yeah. It's Germanic.
That's right.
And just paint a moustache on that man's face.
Yeah.
Okay, another one from me. This is also from a Highgate challenge. It's called Love and Hate. It's one of my few poems which I almost remembered, but not quite. And let's see what people make of it. Primordial Neanderthal, his knees so, horse protruding, shoulders slung low, knuckles grazing mother mud. He strives to be Homo erectus, upright, straight-lined, confined. He thinks, considers writing is poetry, a prison tattoo, blooded, written bipolarity, is love like hate on clenched fist, loving himself, his place, herself, loving so much, so very, very much, enough to kill, enough to hate. He raises his right, his jabber to his lips, kisses before hooking his left into his hateful face, denying self-love, hateful of himself until the loving last. Merci beaucoup.
Ooh.
Bien.
So, another one from Seamus.
Oh, okay. Unless you want to go back a step or two, I'm happy to jump in. This one is, excuse me, this one I forgot I'd ever sort of done. And it was reminded to me, I've lost a few friends to, not to the virus, but to the depression that is resulting from the virus. So I've had two people take their own lives. And the other day, one of the guy's sister reminded me of this when it helped her through the feeling of just sort of destitution, I suppose, that comes with losing somebody close. So it's a thing I wrote for a friend who lost a child, but I think it's appropriate, and it's called Always Be. So if you're feeling down throughout the virus, just let me know and I'll read this over or send you a copy of it. When you're feeling quite rough and to try's not enough, and your energy's wrong and you're not feeling strong, don't you despair, for here is my prayer. If you need me, I'll always be around. If you miss me, I'll always be found. And if you know me, I'll always, always be. And when you're lost in the crowd, for crying out loud, love has no fear, you'll still find me near. Sure, we'll meet again, and you know until then. If you need me, I'll always be around. If you miss me, I'll always be found. If you know me, I'll always, always be. I've meant all I've said from me heart to me head, and now as I close, I ought to expose how I'm feeling right now as I make you this vow. If you need me, I'll always be around. If you miss me, I'll always be found. Sure, you know me, I'll always, always, always be.
Cheers, Seamus.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Michelle? Have you got one more, Michelle?
Yeah, I've got one. I unmuted me. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I've read it before, but I hope that's okay because I just think it's appropriate with everything that's kind of going on. So, let's see. Boris the teapot. Boris the Wallace is having a party. His guests are boys from school. A club of bullies who wear school ties and a girl called Pretty Patel. They drink till they sink and they Morris dance with Boris, who gets married to Doris and stays up late with Bump the Trump, who gets the hump when Dominic keeps coming. And the UK is buzzing. Chinese whispers don't disappear as Cummings keeps on coming, and Boris is stuck deep in shit as Cummings is coming. They're all brown nosing. Oh fuck, he's the monster of masturbation. Mojo the Bojo, know what the fuck he does? He doesn't give a damn. He gets down with the people, adorns himself in their uniform. Yes, dressing up in working people's uniforms. He gets down with the people. He gets down on it. He gets down on it. Bojo's a man who likes to lick arse. Here comes the wanker to chop off your head. Mojo the Bojo, he gets break shit done and into the microwave. It dries out and burns, and he gets down with the people and dresses as a member of staff in a factory floor and on the NHS on a ward. He gets a bit part in the office and he's squirting golden showers to flaunt his mojo. Bojo and his mojo are prepared to lick arse all the way up Cummings' arse. He uses verbal diarrhea to tie the media into knots. And the media, of course, led on Bojo's discourse. Thanks.
Yeah. Shall I get the bricks? Shall I get the bricks?
Well, I thought it would go with everything else that's gone before this evening. I thought some people would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cheers, Michelle. Wendy?
I'm not muted, am I?
No, we
I
can
know.
hear you.
I was cosy in the black sooty streets and buildings and chimneys, factories, wet drenched town with oldness, not so smoggy but grey, black smoky, like a comfortable old silent film. Requiem, my hometown. Global enterprise is dehumanising us all. I remember the old market as a little kid, lit like a fairground, Oldfields caravan huddled with my mother, glad of pie and peas in ceramic bowls. I've learned since its reputation crossed boundaries. As a teenager, I hated the indoor soulless replacement. I just remember darkness and the dull smell of weird chips in plastic trays. Nothing to savour but the past, but still better than a supermarket. The 80s politics destroyed our people for the price of everything and the value of nothing brigade. History paled by soulless facades. R.I.P. my hometown. Thanks.
There you go. And we're back on the street where we live.
Hey.
Gwyneth.
You're talking to me?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, right. Just picked up a word of poems from through in the other room, and the one on the one on the top is called Batty, and I remember writing it because at the beginning of all this lock-in and the COVID and so on and so forth, some character said, "We got it from bats." So I thought, oh right, bats. So I wrote a poem called Batty. Because my first meeting with bats was on a country road in Norfolk when I was cycling in the dusk, and the bats were playing themselves, mesmerizing me as I tried to cycle along the road.
Wow.
Cycling at night on a quiet country road, I was disturbed by mystical shapes, bombarding bats in the gathering gloom. Years later, they've distressed me again, locked in my room, hiding from a virus. Was it their habitat that we messed around? Did their simple virus transfer across species, rampage across continents, poisoning a world, frozen by fear into economic disaster? 7 decades on from my first bat meeting, my armchair view of this nature's crisis, there has to be a new beginning.
Oh.
Okay, that's one of the bats.
And I think it may be appropriate to finish with our new guest, Stephen.
Right.
Okay, here goes. I was out looking for my little book there. I couldn't find it, so I have to rely on memory, you know. So it can be dodgy at times, so. So this is called Time, and it's reflecting back to what Seamus's poem there, you know, that something always been around, you know. You never miss the water till the well runs dry. People are always going to be around. So this was wrote about my dad, who died about 10 years ago, but it's about anybody really that we have lost. It's to us, you know. So here goes. Time is like a flower. blooms in summertime, lies dormant in the winter, awakes with spring sunshine. But winters can be harsh now. The flower can wither and die, so enjoy it while it's fragrant, this fickle thing called time.
Oh,
You built a nest to hold us, spun a web for us to climb, a place to safely fall from, an open, gentle mind. Like the lighthouse flashing, the chapel's evening chimes, we never thought we'd lose you, this fickle thing called time. Time is like a candle, wick slowly burning down, warmth, light reflecting, till dawn chorus sounds. The winds of change can blow there, the wick can smoulder and die, so enjoy it while it's burning, this fickle thing called. You taught us through values, respect your fellow mankind, to speak and to listen, create your own paradigm. Like the seasons changing, high and low tide times, we never thought we'd lose you, this fickle thing called time.
yay! Lovely. So are you and Seamus from the same place? Are you childhood mates or so? Oh, ain't that nice?
Same county, you know, and about 10 miles from each other, you know, so we would have known each other a long time. Seamus, his younger brother and I were very good friends, you know, and Seamus would be, as you can tell, a little bit older than myself, you know, but...
That's what...
His bigger brother. I keep my control.
Yeah, oh, love that accent. Love that accent.
The Irish have a way with words.
Oh, they do.
All my favourite poets are Irish. It's amazing how they just seem to hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And there's a great feeling. There's a great emotion. And there's a great love of words and ideas. Yes.
Well,
So it's lovely to hear.
You beat the Irish out of us and the English into us, so we have to appreciate the language. We have to.
Oh God, they moan and all a lot.
Well, you show people how to use it. You get yes, right.
Yeah. Well,
I find it very interesting that you have this great facility with words, just like the Welsh have facility with music. It's interesting.
Yep.
I've certainly enjoyed listening to I've certainly enjoyed listening to different poetry forms that people have brought in tonight, and can really appreciate that. I think I've got time to talk about a challenge for next month, and a common theme tonight takes me back to kind of Avebury Stone Circle, where I once stood in a pagan circle, and it was around Halloween, and we passed an apple around, and we talked about kind of people who passed on, and then we shared some mead. And so tonight I've heard a lot of shadows, the shadows in our own lives, people who have passed on, who we might feel we owe thanks to, we'd like to pay a tribute to, so perhaps to someone missing, lost and time. Right, how does that sound as a challenge.
So you're saying shadows? Anything from the past?
Yeah, because shadows of the past, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds
Yeah,
great.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
With Halloween, which is the All Souls. So yeah,
Mm.
I think I'd go for that. And plus, we probably hear the rest of Ghosts from Wendy.
Okay, you asked for it, Seamus. Oh, lovely. It was brilliant. Unfortunately, my battery's just about to die, so lovely to see you all, and thanks very much. It was brilliant. Really nice.
I see you, Wendy.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go too. Bye. Nice to
Bye.
meet everyone.
Bye, everyone. It
Bye.
was lovely. Lovely
Thanks for
poetry. I
sharing.
enjoyed.
Yeah. So what is the title then? Shadows?
But I'll send it around, Christopher,
Oh.
as there's quite a few words associated with it. But it's basically,
Okay. Bye.
it's basically shadows of the past.
Shadows of the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, shadows of the past. That expresses it.
You got that, Stephen? You're in next week, or next month rather.
You're going to have me back, are you?
I don't think I'll say no, Stephen. But I'll send an invitation. I'll add your email to our membership list.
Great, great. No, I really enjoyed it. It was very nice meeting you all and listening, as you say, Richard, to the different poetry styles and forms, you know, and the words. So very, very nice. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, Stephen.
A pleasure.
You want to wave at
Take
them?
care. Bye.
Bye, Andy. Bye, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Seamus.
Bye, Rich. Bye, Seamus.
Right.
Do you want to wave at them? Do you want to wave at them?
Oh, we've got Joyce. Hiya, Joyce.
Bye, everyone. Oh, bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Hello. There you are.
Bye.
There you are.
Yeah.
Rich is saying hello to you.
Hello, Richard.
Right, hi, Joyce. Really nice to see you.
Hello.
Hope we hear more of your poetry in the future.
Yes. Well, she did write a poem about something about Yeats, but maybe she'll allow me to read that out next time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look forward to it.
About the oh, I forgot what it's about now.
For things fall apart.
Oh yeah, but things fall apart.
There you go. That sounds a lot like Shadows of Our Past.
It does, doesn't it? There we are. Instant oven ready, as Boris Johnson would say.
Yeah.
All right then. All right. See you. All right. Okay then. Bye bye.